What's up, guys? So here it finally is, the final version of the FILBE ruck. The latest few episodes have kind of been building up to this, and I'm really excited to say that I think, with 99.99% certainty, this is the final setup for the FILBE ruck. I didn't want to make a video lately on the FILBE ruck simply because I kept looking at it, working with it, just playing around with the pouches, and it was just never really. I was just never really happy with the setup, with a combination of pouches, whether size, color, combination. It just wasn't working out because my Molly 2 rucks, for example, worked out really well, and the design I didn't necessarily have a design in mind. It kind of just happened to take form effortlessly, whereas the FILBE ruck really required a little bit of work. Matter of fact, I think it's over 2 years, almost 3, that I'm working on this ruck. And finally, I think I can say that all the mods and additions have been completed, and so let me just get right into the the process of this pack. So, or at least let me describe what we have. Up here we have a really cool pouch for starters, which again maximizes the entire field of PALS webbing available, which is, if I'm not mistaken, 8 by 3 rows, and it clips on with malice clips. And the beauty of this pouch is, I'll link a video from MDOM USA. There's the logo right there. This is called the MDOM Fatty Wide Load pouch, and it's seriously massive. If filled to capacity, it's actually maybe even too big. But I found it for cheap, and I figured this would work perfectly up here. And it has these D-rings, so I can always have the option to, detach it quickly and use it. Not so much for, a lot of people say if you set up camp and then you want to take a small pack with you. For me, it would be more of a case of if I fail to be able to carry this beast because I'm injured or because the terrain is super tough, whatever the scenario may be, I may have to abandon this huge ruck and take simply the essentials with me. So that's an option that I want to have with all my larger rucks, especially Molly compatible packs. I want to be able to have a pouch or a pack that I can take off and then use as a standalone kind of carrying system, if you will, for whatever essentials that I may require. But what can I say? This pouch works really well here, and is super cool, super versatile. Let me just unclip that. As you can see, it's super cool, really functional. It has these dividers. I already got some single-use toilet paper. This has got nothing. This has got the strap to carry it with, should I need to take this apart. It's got some more elastic bands to secure objects down here. It's got another sleeve, another zippered sleeve here. So it's a really nice pouch, and it's in a really nice shade of tan. So, I think it works well on this pack, and most importantly, it maximizes the entire field of PALS webbing available on the top flap. Let me quickly do this and move on. By the way, MDOM USA is a US brand, but it is made in Hong Kong. However, the craftsmanship is amazing. The quality of the materials are amazing. This is Cordura fabric, as you can see. So 1000 denier nylon. It's still top of the range materials. Don't be discouraged if something is made in a foreign country. At the end of the day, you got to look at the quality of their stuff. Is it up to par? You know, this is definitely military grade gear. The stitching, you know, the quality of the materials. I think this might even be YKK zippers. I'm not sure if it says anywhere, but they're quality zippers. See if it says in there. No. Anyway, let me quickly move on. Okay, and coming down, we have two really generous size pouches by Crossfire, an Australian brand, also made in China. But see if I can get the tag somewhere in there. Whoa, please focus. Let's see if I can get this in the shot. Made in China for crossfire.com.au. So still, again, in this case, quality materials, guys, quality stitching, you know, and they are in coyote brown, so it's nice. They don't match to a T the coyote brown from the FILBE ruck, but they're pretty close, and you know, they work really well. They complement the pack really well. I don't see an issue with it. And yeah, the thing is about these pouches, I used to use these on one of my Molly 2 rucks, but I since decided to switch them out and you know, use them for the FILBE ruck, because admittedly they would work better, or not necessarily better, but you know, in this case, you know, for the FILBE ruck, they would definitely be the best option. So I sacrificed these two packs from one of the Molly 2 rucks in order to upgrade this design, which in the past was more of a jumble of pouches, different colors, different sizes. It was all a mess, and I kept trying to work with whatever I had left over. I didn't really want to invest any money in this, but the more I worked on it, the more I realized I have to invest a little money if I really want this to be, you know, a badass pack. And you know, let's keep going. Now this pack, I mean, this pouch is by 511, and it works really well. Again, in this case, all these three pouches, this is slightly longer than these two by one row of PALS webbing. But other than that, they take up pretty much the entire field of PALS webbing available on this pack, which is what I wanted. I really wanted sizable pouches. As you can see, the only one they don't take up is the last one, but it still inevitably ends up being taken up by the space, you know, covered, you know, it covers the last one, so it still takes up pretty much the entire field of PALS webbing, and it's super functional. I didn't want, you know, small pouches, but I didn't want really massive pouches like, you know, sustainment pouches, just a couple of extra sustainment pouches, because it just would have been too big and too cumbersome, and ultimately there wouldn't have been that organization, you know, that is what I'm really looking for. And this is where pardon me, this is where this pouch comes into play. This zippered pouch by 511. This is a really lengthy pouch, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of PALS webbing, and it just about squeezes in between these two, which take up three sections of these, 4 and another 3, so it maximizes the entire 10 across of PALS webbing slots. And yeah, it's just, seeing as the top flap as well kind of has this curve, it doesn't really interfere with the fact that this is, you know, just slightly higher than these pouches, which at the same time, you know, they're weaved in here. This is the first row of Pal's webbing, as you can see. And they still take up, you know, this takes up the entire first row anyway, you know, in height at least. And yeah, this works really well here, and it happens to be in Coyote Brown as well. On camera, for some reason, it looks like a different shade of Coyote Brown compared to the two pouches, but I can assure you it actually matches the two pouches more. And what can I say? It just works. It just works. And I'm really happy that I made use of the entire field of Pal's webbing, maximized the space, and made it functional. And not only that, it really looks good now, you know, with the whole Coyote Brown row of pouches. On the other hand, on the other side here, we have a triple mag pouch by Eagle Industries. And on this side, we have a triple mag pouch by Blackhawk. Now, why are these different colors? First of all, is because these were the only ones that I could find. I only found one here, and, you know, I had to source them individually. But most importantly, especially because I couldn't find any Coyote Brown that would effectively fit this section of the Pal's webbing and really maximize the usability of it. And let me get to that quickly here, if I can see, because this is where the straps, the side straps, buckles in just above this pouch and just below this pouch. Where is it now? Pardon me, guys. Thought this was already set up, but obviously it wasn't. There we go. There we go. So, as you can see, directly above and directly below this pouch, and that's able to squeeze in there and make use of that dead space, so to speak, and still have enough room for the straps and buckles, you know, which rest in between these kind of like two half sections of the webbing. And in the end, I used to run Molly 2 sustainment pouches that I dyed, but they kind of looked kind of green. So I thought to myself, you know what? At the end of the day, I might as well just purchase these. I found a decent deal, so I thought to myself, you know what? Initially I didn't like them because they're smaller than the sustainment pouches. And in the past, I've actually turned those down. There was other offers where I could have gotten them for cheaper, and I turned it down because I thought, no, I want to use my, not my pouches, but the Molly 2 pouches, simply because these take up a row of 5 across, a row of 5 slots of Pal's webbing across, whereas the Molly 2 sustainment pouches take up 6, and also they're a little bit deeper. So it really made more use of this field of Pal's webbing, which, unlike the Molly 2 ruck, starts here. It's not a continuous field of Pal's webbing that kind of, you know, continues onto the front or the back of the pack, however you want to look at it. But the thing is that these, I figured go with these simply because, you know, they match. You know, they match in color, so I would sacrifice a little bit of the space. But at the end of the day, I thought to myself, I still have this, you know, 2 by however many, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 by 5 rows of Pal's webbing to work with. And I thought to myself, something like this would work really well. You know, squeeze that in there. Triple mag pouch, and one of them houses my the reason why one of them is tan and the other is OD isn't just because I found whatever was available, but it works really well because one holds my desert pack cover, desert vegetado pack cover, and the other color coordinated, you know what I mean, is for the woodland pack cover. And you know, they don't take, you know, they don't really it doesn't look like just a mismatch of colors like it was before. It all makes sense now. It has coyote pouches pretty much everywhere. This is more of a shade of tan, but a dark shade of tan, so it still works. And that is, you know, a different shade of tan again, but and that obviously olive drab, but it still works. It still looks really good, and it's functional, most importantly. But you know, aesthetically as well, you know, it just really makes sense now. All the pouches have a purpose, have a place, and have the right kind of size and, you know, shape that really maximizes the field of Pal's webbing available on this giant pack. But that's not the only thing that I did. I also had, as you can see, it's got the sleeping mat here, and I had strips of webbing, or rather I had 2 MBC carriers with Molly 2 MBC carriers, a couple of them, which had shoulder straps, which I wasn't using, so I unstitched the webbing from that, I unstitched the buckles from that, and was able to get a nice strap with 2 male ends, 2 male buckles that strap in nicely, you know, onto the pack and secure the Alice frame even more tightly to the pack, you know, without having to go in there and jerry-rig some way of keeping this attached. This just, you know, works and is perfectly fine. And I don't know if you noticed, but the last iteration, this was black. So here we come to the real star of this entire setup, which I think makes this pack the Rolls Royce of FILBE rucks. What we have here is an LBT 2168E in tan. Now, the previous version of this pack, I had the same setup in black. But as you can see, you can definitely see the details more on this model compared to the black one. It was like on camera, I mean, it was just all one dark blotch. Whereas, guys, I found this when I saw this online on eBay. I paid a pretty penny for this, I won't lie. I paid 160 euros shipped, and or 161 to be precise. So it was pricey. It was definitely a pricey piece, a pricey component. The last one that I bought, the black one, I think I paid 80 plus shipping. So yeah, considerably cheaper. Probably because it was black though, and not that many people wanted a black one. In fact, it was kind of on the market for a while, and no one was purchasing it. But this one, when I saw this one in tan and in brand new condition, I thought to myself, you know what, guys, I just have to do this. I have to purchase this this piece because it would look so good on the FILBE ruck, and it would just complement this pack so much better than the black one. Nothing wrong with the black one, still completely functional, still the same thing, but aesthetically speaking, the tan one works a lot better. You know, the only thing that could have been better than the tan would have been one in coyote brown, but I don't believe these were even made in coyote brown, because these were made to pair up with the LBT 1749B ruck. But in this case, as you can see, guys, oh man, it looks good, and I think it was really worth it. You know, just because at this point it really it just really has a totally different look, doesn't it? It doesn't look like a total Frankenstein like before. It just makes sense, you know? Everything makes sense. And last but not least, the auto lock buckles by Mystery Ranch to secure in and most importantly make use of the load lifters, which are crucial in a setup, you know, this heavy. already just by loading it up, I had to crank down. I really had to crank down on the load lifters because this pack is so huge. It wants to, move away from your body. But, if it wasn't for the load lifters, I don't know how I'd carry something like this big. I'm already going to be struggling, no doubt. But the load lifters, essential piece of any setup, especially for a heavier pack. What can I say, guys? This is brand new, brand spanking new. You can see the quality, on camera, definitely. And it's just such a badass setup. The frame as well, I got for $35 plus shipping. It was $42. Brand new frame, included a kidney pad, an Alice kidney pad, which I used on a different pack. But yeah, solid frame, brand new, and top of the range, I would say, suspension system for this setup. And yeah, guys, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy with this ruck now. I'm finally able to, show you guys the finished product and what I think is by far the best iteration of this pack, so far at least. Definitely the best version. And I don't believe I'll be changing it up from this configuration. So which is why I wanted to make this video finally, just because I didn't want to just keep making videos. I made one too many videos on the FILBE ruck and the various versions that have come out, so I wanted to kind of save it up for when I thought that, yeah, this is the final version. And I'm just really liking the size of the pouches and the fact that they all look similar, I mean, they have the top flap, but they're all kind of like the same size, some bigger, some smaller, some wider. Other than this zippered pouch, they all have, that kind of that look, and obviously the shade of brown, the coyote brown, is really nice. Shade of tan still works really well. Matches the suspension system. So the only thing that doesn't match anything else is the OD, but it's pretty muted color. It doesn't, and it kind of hangs in there in between the coyote brown pouches. It doesn't look out of place or anything like that. It's just part of this look, I guess. So what can I say, guys? I'm really happy with this design. I'm definitely gonna have to rock with it at least once before I sell it. But I think this is finally it. This is the final version of this pack, and I'm really happy with it now. Really happy with it, guys. Really, really excited about it. Finally, I mean, look at that. That looks pretty decent. Definitely looks a lot better than the black one, which was a bit too much contrast, I would say. A bit too aggressive, and obviously not as I wouldn't say camouflaged, but not as having more muted colors like a tan or a coyote brown. Black was definitely a bit too much of a mismatch. Well, I mean, it worked actually. It still worked. It still worked well. But this works so much better. So at the end of the day, was it worth the extra money I paid for it? I'm gonna say yes. I'm just hoping that someone else out there eventually, when I have to sell this ruck, will think the same, and will actually invest the money that I put into this pack. Which, the irony of it is, it started from a yoke. It started from an Eagle Industries yoke that would not fit to the Down East 1606 frame, which it was advertised which it was advertised for. So I tried it on the on the Alice frame, and sort of jerry-rigged a way in which the FILBE ruck, which was the only one that would allow that yoke to work, simply because it had a smaller sleeve, a shorter sleeve compared to the Alice pack. Where am I going with this again? Yeah, it was, it started out like that. The project started out with with making that yoke work rather than making the pack work. But then I scrapped the yoke. I used it on a completely different frame, a completely different setup. And so I found myself with a ruck and, a suspension system, the LBT 2168E. And I thought to myself, pair them up, worked really well, And so when I saw the 1 in 10, I thought, ooh, yes, the black one works well. It's functional, it's comfortable. But this would look so much better, and I believe it does. I believe it was worth the money. Plus, like I said, guys, brand new condition, so couldn't have asked for anything better. And this pack just looks good now. It looks good. It's functional. It has decent sized pouches that I don't have on other packs. Other packs still have smaller sized pouches compared to these ones, which are, like I said, it takes up almost the entire field of PALS webbing, guys. Look how lengthy these are. I can fit in here, for example, just about perfectly my 2-liter South African water bottle. This is quite a big bottle, and it fits in here. Just perfectly, for example. Let's see if I can do this again. Whoa! There we go. Just beautifully. Look at that. And here I just had for size, a pack cover, but I would probably use it to fit like my rain jacket or something, just something to have on the outside. A poncho could work in here. A tarp would probably fit in here. And here I would probably use it for my tools, especially like my saw and e-tool, stuff that is quite generous sized, and would need a longer pouch in order to accommodate those objects. So what can I say, guys? I'm just so excited that this pack is finally complete, and I'm finally really, really happy with it. It just looks really sick. And it's made with top of the range, materials and components. So at the end of the day, this is a super Frankenstein now. It's not just a mismatch of packs and of colors. This actually makes sense. So what can I say, guys? Thank you for having stuck with me this long. If you've been a hardcore follower and have seen the various versions of this pack, you can definitely appreciate that this is so much better. Definitely so much better than previous versions, and I dare say the best version it can possibly be, at least with the components that I was able to find. I think these work just really well, and I'm not gonna change it after this configuration. It's just gonna stick like that. And as you can see, I still have my 2 water bottles in here ready, to be filled in case I need to go anywhere with this ruck. But just testing out the size, obviously, and of how I can compartmentalize my gear. It's always fun playing around. And what can I say, guys? Here it is, once and for all, the FILBE ruck. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project. Hope it gave you some ideas on how to pimp your own pack out. And what can I say, guys? As always, I will see you on the next one. Let's see if this actually is able to pause.